If sport has ever got you through a bad week, made you feel part of something, or started a friendship, then this podcast is for you. Welcome to Across the Codes. I'm Karabelo.
And I'm Bali. This is a space for sports lovers who care about more than just the scorelines. We're here for the passion, the friendships, the comfort, and the moments that sports brings into our lives. No matter the code, no matter the team, if you love sports, you're home.
Friend, I feel like it has been long since we sat down to record one of this. Not actually long, because we did try to record last week, but we had technical issues and things. Yeah, unforeseen circumstances. But we are here today. And before we get into whatever we're going to talk about today, let's start with the basics. Tell me how you are doing, but explain it in sports terms. So, how are you doing?
It was really unfortunate that we had the technical difficulties that we did have. But we're here now, we're back and we're better. Currently, I feel like I am the Las Vegas Aces just when they lost by 53 points in the middle of the season, and they decided to never do that again. So my GOAT, Aja Wilson, texted them. This is like law from WNBA 2025 season. She texted them, if you're not embarrassed by that, don't come back in this gym. And they all got their act together. And I feel like I feel that way because I don't feel as anxious about work as I used to. And I feel like I've decided to lock in and just get my act together and really not allow anxiety to ruin my days the way that it used to. So I really feel like I am at that point in the season where I'm hoping to change things for the better. Because after that, they went on like a streak of winning, and they went like 17 games unbeaten or something crazy like that, 12. So I feel like I am in a good mood, or I'm in a good space to basically also decide to not let anxiety do that to me again. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling. How are you feeling?
I need you to hotspot me with that locking in, because I feel like I need it now. I need to lock in. There's so many things that I need to do and I don't have time. There's so many things I need to catch up on. I don't have time, and I'm wasting time also with stressing and being anxious also. But I still feel the same way I felt last week. I still feel like I am Nico Mobi chasing Kylian Mbappe, trying to catch him. Kylian Mbappe is just moving. Every time I feel like I'm closer, he just moves. So that's how I'm still feeling even today.
Okay, like I said, think of yourself as Kuliso Mudau. You are Sailor, okay? You're not Nico Mobi, you are Sailor chasing Mbappe. At least you have a bit of a chance. So just think of yourself that way, and the locking in will come.
Yes, anytime this week I have a problem, I'm gonna be like, remember, you're a sailor woman. Was sailor woman way. Just push.
Wait, don't say Sailor Woman. Just now that nickname sticks. You don't want to call yourself that.
Just imagine. No, I'm fine with Mzet. Mzet is fine. Sailor woman is just for this week because I'm not feeling, you know, sailor woman will just be for this week.
Okay, Sailor Woman. So, speaking of the week, right? This week, the round of 32, the Nedbank Cup, started on the 2nd of Feb, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't watch all the games, but I just want to get a sense of how you're feeling about this round of 32. What do you make of the games?
So I had the privilege of attending the Stellenbosch and Kaiser Chiefs one live. I was actually excited because I didn't know it was playing, and it was playing on a Wednesday night. And a friend of mine was like, "Hey, are you back in Cape Town? Let's go." So I actually went there to watch. It was quite a nice match, and I feel like it was evenly spread. Stellenbosch had their chances, but Kaiser Chiefs also equally had their good chances. The game plan from Stellenbosch was clear. It was, let's press, let's look for goals, let's kill them early, and then we can focus on defending. Chiefs was trying with the counter attacks. It just wasn't working, because I think in the first half Mduduzi Shabalala had quite a few chances which he did not take, but that is fine. Stellenbosch were excellent in their pressing game. They were so disciplined and they were doing it quite well, which I think is something that worked for them. We saw them score a penalty, and then Devin Titus scored a beautiful goal. Chiefs came back with a penalty in the second half, but it wasn't enough. You know, part of me is happy, yes, they're out, but like defending champions out in the first round, what do you mean? And one can say they did get a difficult tie because they also got Stellenbosch in the quali knockout. That game went to extra time and penalties. Stellenbosch knocked them out. So they should just avoid Stellenbosch in the knockouts. Another game that also played on Wednesday was Sundowns and Gomora United. I'm shocked at the final score. The final score is Sundowns 2, Gomora 1. Why is it only 2-1? Like, I thought it was going to be like a 6-1, a 5-1. Just two. Like, yeah, just got two. Sundowns is such a big team, and you expect like heavy numbers against these teams that are not in like your NFTs or about the teams that came in through the qualification. You expect them to score more, but just the 2-1, I was like, weird, but that's fine. And then the best team in the country played yesterday. The best team in the land. Wow, man. I think it was also a good game. It was a game where we got to see the rotation of Orlando Pirates and how like stacked we are. I believe we can now say that we're a stacked team. We do have quality players that we can move around. We had scored 4 goals with Andre de Jong scoring a penalty, Talente Mbata scoring, Patrick Masangai, and Sipombule. You see, that's what I mean. Like we are stacked. There's different scorers all the time, and I can't wait. Now I'm already calling it now. We are going to win this Nedbank.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know if I would take it as far as saying we're definitely playing the final. There's definitely good signs of it, right? The first sign is us scoring 4 goals. I thought that we were going to score more goals. We definitely had chances to score and convert a lot more goals than 4. I thought that Patrick Maswanganyi had a couple of chances that he could have converted as well on top of the one that he already had. I feel like he could have had a hat trick. I was like hoping for something like that. I also was very happy to see Sipombule score. I feel like that goal was like in the making for so long, and I'm really happy to see that. Like, we're definitely a stacked team, 100%. But I just get a little bit scared sometimes to call it because I don't want to jinx it. I really I'm scared of jinxing it.
Call it, because who's gonna stop us? I looked at these teams and I'm not seeing who will stop us. Call it now.
You're not even scared of like a Sekhukhune United, nothing, like,
I'm not. One thing that I'll tell you that I've come to accept and realize over the years is nobody wants to play us in cup competitions. I don't know what it is about cup competitions, but our players can win a cup competition match. They can win. They can get you to a final. They can win the final, but they can also lose a final. But the point is, they can get you there, and then we'll figure it out there. So I know that in that final, we will be there. That final, we will be there.
I also want to talk a little bit about like our defensive lineup. I was really happy to see we had Chabatsane play in there. Also later on, the coach introduced Sane. I was really happy to see him back. So I'm quite excited to see how our defensive lineup will look. But I also want to like point out the fact that I think we had like 6 clean sheets before going into that game, and then we conceded that goal. And I'm a little bit not nervous wouldn't be the word for it, but I just want to get a sense of like how you think we're gonna fare defensively moving forward, seeing that we have lost like some of our big hitters. Olisanda is a big hitter, but because he hasn't been playing in the starting lineup in quite a long time, we can't really say his impact will be felt immediately or at all. But obviously we can speak to the fact that we lost Mbokazi. We didn't lose him, but he's now at Chicago Fire. I just want to like see like how do you think the matchup between Siema and Sasani will be? Like, what do you make of our defensive performance in that game as well as just moving forward?
Okay, for the goal we conceded, I don't blame the defense, I blame the keeper. And it was a new keeper. Like, it was an easy save, which he didn't make, but it's fine. Maybe it's because I get he's rusty, he hasn't played in a while. Other than that, I think our defense were good. Like, we're good. Like, really before we lost our precious diamond in Mbokazi, we had a centre back pairing of Mbokazi and Siema. So I think what's going to happen now is that pairing is going to change. Ibe, CBC, and Siema, which is still good, which is still fine. Siema, 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 I cannot manzi. And I was talking with a friend of mine about him yesterday, and he was saying he thinks Siema is going to be the replacement for Mbokazi, which is fine, and I also see it, and I'm fine with it because he's okay. He's a good defensive player. He can make those passes into the final third, those crosses. He can do that. However, I think yesterday CBC's partner was Mpho Chabatsani, if I'm not mistaken. I think he also could be like because I don't know him. Ne? I think we just signed him from Marumugalan, so I don't know him yet. I don't know much of him, but there seems to be something there. I'm just waiting to see that something. But I think going forward, we're gonna trust Siema and CBC to carry us, and I'm okay with it. Like you also said, Sasan is also coming back, and maybe we might see other combinations going forward, like maybe Sasani and Siema, but we'll see. I'm not too worried. I think we're fine. I'm not really worried. I think we're good there at the back.
Okay, before the people say we're speaking about Pirates for too long, I want to wrap this up by saying I think you can tell that we're on the cusp of something great, especially in terms of like our how stacked our team is and just how many options we have. Because, for example, like you say, Chabatsani was introduced, and like usually I know we're in a good spot when the starting lineup is released, and it's not the one that I had in my head. You know, like when as a supporter you have a starting lineup that you think the coach should follow, and if the coach doesn't follow that lineup, you may crash out a little bit. And we haven't been crashing out because I also saw, like I said, our comment section was very healthy after that lineup came out. People were very excited to see him come out as well. So that's a good sign. That's always a good sign for me to say, like, we really do have quality players, and the quality conversation has changed. I think we're at a different level right now in terms of that. But also, speaking about comment section, have you seen the Chicago Fire social media page? So I don't know if you've noticed, but South Africans have taken camp. We have officially invaded the Americans on their internet there by Chicago Fire. We are residents now. Like, we have taken over. This is our house. This is TLB's home. So automatically, this is our house. Like, the comments have been so funny. Like, have you seen?
You know what a social media hack is for any club in the world? Use South African music or sign a South African player. You will see South Africans flock there. Even people that didn't support Pirates, they are flocking Chicago Fire because Mbekezeli and Puso are our own. So we'll flock there. I remember we did the same when to Burnley for Lyle, we did the same. When Brighton signed Pesita, we all did the same. We just ran there and we'll camp there, we'll give you engagements. And it's just a nice thing to see that even though this player is not from your team, or you probably didn't like him when he was in South Africa, but just because there's a South African playing somewhere else, we all want him to do well and we all wish them to do well. It's been cute, but hey, that photo shoot that Chicago Fire did.
Someone said, like, when is the gospel album coming out? Because these photos are a bit crazy. Like, the comment section on that photo, because I think that was the first one that they had, it had like 100K likes, and people were just saying the craziest things. I saw someone say these are the kinds of photos we use for a CD cover in South Africa. Another comment we saw someone asked Shame, like, Nienzani Nkabi lapho, like, Nenzani lapho, Chicago Fire. I mean, it was really nice to see him across my feed. So I think, like you say, it's a really great strategy to bring us into the fun. South Africans love some good vibes. We love to talk crazy. You know, it's interesting. It's going to be fun. To see all the content that they're going to do. That photo shoot though was very sketchy.
Now it will definitely work, and they must stop making Inkavi take such pictures. Because I was looking at that picture, I was like, "Hey, bro, what are they doing to Mbokazi? Do they know this man street creds are Haiko Inkavi?" But the photo shoot and everything aside, what do you think about Mbokazi and Puso moving to Chicago Fire? Do you think it's a good move, or what do you think?
I am 100% for that move. Like, I know a lot of people are thinking of it as like a stepping stone into something greater, and sure, whatever. But I also feel like objectively it is a good move for various reasons. One, I feel like the MLS is probably the fastest growing league in terms of like viewership, talkability, and all that. Like when Messi moved that side, it was quite like we started to kind of pay more attention to it. So in terms of attention, I don't think he's lost the attention of the world. Also on the women's side, you know how great of a footballing nation America is. They have the biggest dynasty in terms of like World Cup wins there. So I don't think that football wise, it's a horrible decision at all. I also feel like, because I've been doing a little bit of digging into Chicago Fire and who they are, you know, why they chose our boys. I do feel that it was a well-placed move in terms of where they are in what they're trying to achieve, that is Chicago Fire, and also bringing in the type of players that they brought in, especially a defender. So in the MLS, you would know that the league works differently, right? You have to qualify to play in the playoffs, you play in your conference. So I think he's in the Western Conference, if I'm not mistaken, and he gets to play. So he's going to play Messi a lot. Actually, somebody said that he feels sorry for Messi now that TLB is in the league, which is hilarious. But it would be interesting to see. I can't wait to see that. So essentially, you have to qualify into the playoffs. And I know recently they haven't had a great track record in terms of qualifying into the playoffs and actually doing well there. And I am of the belief that to win championships, to stand a chance at any championship, you have to have really good defense. And like Puso, Mbokazi are the type of players you want to build your defense around, the type of players that you certainly like, even in the fact that they come from South Africa, the fact that they were starters, the fact that they had such great impact on their teams, from Mbokazi especially also playing in the national team, he is a great person to anchor that defense around, and I'm very excited to see how that will pan out as well. So I honestly am for that move. I really actually want to get into watching the games as well because I'm that excited about seeing them. So yeah, good move from my end.
I was about to ask who o tla kgona na ho tsoha ka 2 every day to watch those matches. But that aside, I think a lot of people were worried, asking, not even worried, they wanted Mbogazi to go to Europe. And I think it's high time we stop using Europe as the benchmark for I've made it in football. It doesn't mean because you play in Europe, you've made it. Yes, I mean, you get opportunities, but that is not to say USA does not give those opportunities. I feel like America, like we spoke about this, they are a country or a nation that takes football seriously. I mean, you know, with the women's football, but I also think with the men's, they do take it seriously. So because he's playing the USA, it does not mean that we won't see him move outside of the USA also. Because I get people have this mentality that the MLS is a retirement league, in nobody can get scouted from there. I think this is the opposite here. They both of them can get scouted from the MLS. So I also think it's a good opportunity for both of them, and financially it could be what they're looking for because some of them could be coming from backgrounds that really need the financial support, you know. But yeah, I'm excited. I don't know about waking up at 2 ba shebella, but ke tla sheba the highlights and now check the highlights.
No, I'll also definitely be watching the highlights. I think watching the games, I can't commit to watching games at night, like, no. But if I do catch a game, like if it's possible for me to watch a game by like 9 p.m. or whatever, into the night, maybe into the AMs, I will. But also, like, speaking to how well I think they're going to do in the league, like, as I said, I think that because of the kinds of players they are, and also looking at the position Chicago Fire finds themselves in, they will probably be starters as well. I don't imagine Mbokazi not being a starter in that like within that setup. I definitely feel like he will be a starter, and if Puso isn't a starter, he also will be quite an important impact player. So I think that in terms of them getting good game time, like, we shouldn't worry about that. I really feel like that's covered. I also want to say that it's a lot of the times, especially when there's like a discourse around whether a player should have gone to Europe or, gone to another league, especially the USA, for me, stands out to maybe like making an inter-African move. It's better than making, for me, 100% better than making an inter-African move. It's better than going to like a different division, like a lower division of like the France league, the French league, I mean. So I think all of that also speaks to how well we have been able to package our product so that it can export into different markets, right? Like, our football, for it to be so well sought after, like, I can see why anyone would want Mbokazi in their team, right? But also, like, then going to get Puso, because for example, what TLB can do. We don't know the conversations they're in terms of why both of them were there. Both of them are extremely deserving, I should add. But I also think, like, whatever the people in the United States decided to see or decided to look at when they chose those players to come in and play for them. And we know that America is quite a patriotic, they have a very patriotic stance in their sports. Like, they really try to empower their own. But for them to see a need to go outside and say, I'm going to get South African players, speaks to the type of product that we have, the type of football that we have, that it really is getting exposure in all the right places. And it really is good. I don't think that we should always wait for Europe to be the ones that validate us. I think we need to be self-validated, and it's moves like these, for me, that are not Eurocentric, that really speak to the kind of value that I think South African football has always been about, but also now more than ever, like, we really are hot in the market. So I definitely feel like it's a great move.
Yeah, I also don't think it's a bad move. I just know there was an uproar on Twitter when it was announced. People were mad. Funny enough, the same energy wasn't applied when Puso was announced. I was like, hey, so guys, what's the problem now? Like, what is the issue? Baba? And there's still the World Cup coming. Maybe someone will see him there. Hey, people must just relax. Let him make his decisions. I feel like he consulted with everybody to make the best possible decision. And ours is just to support him, support the boy. Like, let's support him. I know he'll do well. Ours is just to support him. Friend, what's happening with the WAFCON? Ke bona yo mathata fela ho kopane. What's going on? I mean, this tournament is literally days away, like a month. It's supposed to be happening next month. What is going on?
So during the week, I don't know what I was doing on Google, but then I saw like a number of articles that were just talking about, no, this was on Microsoft Edge. And I saw like a number of articles talking about South Africa hosting the WAFCON. And I'm saying, like, wait, what is happening? Am I in 2026 February? Like, somebody pinch me. What is happening? What am I reading? What is this that I'm reading? And then I remember sending you, in our group, I sent you the articles to be like, please explain to me what's happening. Do you have any news for me from X? And we had kind of like tried to figure out what's going on. You also mentioned that everybody's confused, including the people from X. So I kind of like, it's weird because there is no we can't trace any kind of statement that comes from Morocco themselves to say that they don't want to be hosting the WAFCON. It seems to be that this rumor kind of started within South Africa. So someone decided to say that we wouldn't mind hosting. We can host if Morocco doesn't want to host. There is no official statement at this point, either from CAF, from Morocco, even from us. We haven't confirmed anything in terms of hosting. So it was quite weird, to figure out what was happening. We know, obviously, that Morocco just come from hosting the AFCON. Now they're going into the WAFCON. Maybe there's a bit of pressures there in terms of being able to host 2 tournaments of that caliber back to back. So it may have been an issue like that, but it was just unsettling. But then it also got me thinking, let's say we were to host this thing, and it's supposed to start on the 17th of March, if I'm not mistaken. Let's say we were to host the WAFCON. Are we even ready? Do we have the capacity to do such a thing? And why are we jumping up at opportunities like this with, bated breath, just trying to show the world what we can do? Do we even have what it takes to host at this particular moment? Or are we just grasping at straws?
We do not have the capacity. No, we don't have the capacity. This tournament is a month away. We have the PSL that's currently running. I don't know if the Women's League is currently running as well. Which stadiums are we going to use? When are we going to get them tournament ready? Because I think stadiums need to reach a certain level to be deemed okay. Yeah, this is a stadium worthy of a tournament match. When are they gonna do that? When are we gonna get everything ready? No, we don't have the capacity. They should have told us at least a year in advance so that plans can be made. I feel like we won't be able to do it unless if they then extend. Then they say we do it maybe after the World Cup, just before the PSL resumes. Maybe then we could be like, okay, cool, sharp, we can host it. But if we were to host it now, we don't. And I want to know who was that making those premature comments? Why would you put us under such stress and such pressure?
I think another angle to this conversation that really kind of infuriates me is the fact that we're even having this conversation at all. We have the WAFCON, talks of it not being hosted because the host country doesn't want to actually host it, or rumors about that happening. But also we have the WAFCON happening at the back of the AFCON. I mean, AFCON ended just now in January, if I'm not mistaken, because it wasn't December, it was January, right? But it just ended, right? My point is, it just ended. I think it also, outside of us being able to host, having stadium capacity, having scheduling capacity, we haven't even done proper marketing for this. The fact that it can just be thrown around to say we're going to host it. And I understand, right? I understand the sports and arts ministry's position in that they want to be able to, quote unquote, save the WAFCON if it is falling apart, if Morocco is deciding not to host, right? That in and of itself would be a whole process that CAF would need to undertake. So you would kind of need to know now in the middle of Feb whether they're hosting or somebody else has to host. And like you said, they would need to be given time. But it also just speaks to the problem it generally, when it comes to women's sports, for Morocco to want to walk out, and of course people always talk about commercial reasons for why men's sports are treated so much better than women's sports, but I also just think it feeds the problem. We don't have, Morocco is comfortable enough to go, we're gonna cancel, or they starting rumors to be we don't want to host anymore, because they know that they haven't, they're not going to lose anything because they didn't put anything into making sure that we fill the stadiums. It's also about that, right? Filling the stadiums. We, as South Africa as well, not factoring the fact that we also have to fill the stadiums. We don't want the girls to come here and play at an empty stadium. That would not be a good show. And I think that there's a lot that can be done in terms of marketing the WAFCON in particular, and it's just saddening. It's saddening that this is even a conversation. This would never be a conversation if it was the AFCON. So I think it just, to all my, women's sports loving advocates, like, it just really hits home in a very, like, difficult way, because it's like, these are the things we keep talking about, that we keep feeling the problem, and, like, just so angering that we're even having this conversation to begin with.
Also, how did Morocco get to host the AFCON and the WAFCON in the same year? That is just so confusing to me. How did the same country get to host both tournaments, the male and the female? And the one thing that annoys me is how close in proximity the WAFCON is to the AFCON. Literally, the AFCON just ended now in January, February, March. We're starting the WAFCON. When were they gonna get time to? There's been literally zero to probably little marketing around the WAFCON. There are people who probably don't even know the WAFCON is happening because it's being overshadowed by the AFCON.
Yes, exactly that. And to your point, like, there has been little to no marketing that has been done around it, which is why, like, Morocco can feel comfortable to say, no, we don't want to do it. But also, like, continuing in my campaign of saying we're feeling the problem, I think also we shouldn't forget moments like this. Whenever people bring up commercials, whenever they try to refute or try to belittle women's sports, we also forget that we're sabotaging, to an extent, the amount of potential that is there for us to see returns, right? We're also seeing, because I also want to bring a positive light to this, to, like, women's sports and the conversation in general. We also saw how well the 2023 FIFA World Cup did when they were in Australia. I think after that, because I watched, like, most of the games, and I was watching them at night. It was, like, crazy hours, and it did well commercially as well. Like, they did pretty well. I know that stadiums were filled up to, like, 60% capacity for most of the time. The W Euros are also always filled. Like, the guys, actually, I know that the girls in Europe are always playing at packed stadiums. There is commercial viability. There's strong financial potential and commercial potential with the women's game. And it's really unfortunate that we're seeing CAF act the way that they're acting, and really not paying attention, and really not being on the right side of history, and not doing anything to transform how we do things and how we handle women's football in the continent. It's very disappointing, and your loss, really. Like, yes, it's our loss, especially as people who love sports in general, and also as people who love seeing the women's game thrive. But it's also their loss in the fact that they're not putting in the investment that they need to put in to see the kind of returns that women's sports can have. Currently, also, my obsession with basketball, women's basketball, started late 2023, and also there, like, in most codes around the world, we're seeing a lot of commercial growth in the women's game. And for us to be having this conversation where AFCON or the WAFCON is not being taken seriously by CAF, it's quite disappointing, and again, feeds the problem. I will say, though, to end it on a good note, I feel like if we were to host it, I would prefer that we host it. Like, I would love to be in the stadium watching Linda Mutlalo play, guys. I don't have the opportunity to do that because she plays for Banyana but isn't playing domestically. Most of the girls, like, that I really, I mean, I want to see all the girls, and most of the girls play for Sundowns, which creates kind of a problem for me as an Orlando Pirates supporter. But I think we are impeccable hosts. We hosted the 2010 FIFA World Cup, and it's still probably the best World Cup that people rave about, and I feel like we have the potential to put on a show and to really do it justice. So I'm also kind of giving a kudos to the sports ministry for saying, hey, we're putting our hands up. We don't want this to go into jeopardy, so we want to do something about it. So yeah, like, it is what it is at this point.
I agree 100%. We are good hosts. We also hosted the 2013 AFCON. But yeah, I feel like there's so much we still need to talk about on this WAFCON issue. We still need to talk about Banyana Banyana expectations going in, what do we think is going to happen. And we also need to talk about the fact that Morocco and Senegal are in the same group for this year's WAFCON. And I want that to be the opening match. But I feel like we can do that next time. We'll find time also to speak about it again. I think we can stop here for now. I think this has been quite a mouthful. We spoke about a lot. And yeah, maybe we can stop here for today.
100%. That matchup between Morocco and Senegal happening in Morocco after what happened in that final in the AFCON would be crazy. So I hope they get their act together and they actually host the WAFCON, because you want to see that game. But yeah, friend, like you said, there is quite a lot that we need to speak about, but we don't have enough time. If you've gotten to the end of the episode, thank you so much for listening. I also want to thank my dear friend, for all the work that we put into this podcast. If you have not yet, if you're not tuned in, please do follow all our social media pages. We also do social media content that is not about the episodes that we do, just to keep the community alive and going. So if that's your kind of thing, please definitely give us a follow. Also, don't forget to please give us a rating of 5 on wherever you listen to your podcasts. I'm not sure if YouTube podcasts does ratings, but please rate us a 5 on Spotify as well as Apple podcasts. And if you think we deserve anything less than a 5, please send us an email to let us know how we can improve. But thank you so much for listening. We will see you guys on the other side. Before that, friend, do you want us to give them a little bit of a teaser for the episode we're going to do next? Because it would be quite a different one. Do you think we should let them know?
Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Don't tell them. They'll find out when the episode is happening or what's going on.
Okay, strict crowd, tough crowd, very tough crowd. But do stay tuned, guys. Do stay tuned. I promise it's going to be a special one.
Just quickly, my friend forgot to mention our social media handle is Across the Codes on TikTok and on Instagram. So just go look at our content and give us a like, a comment, something. Other than that, we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye. Wow.